We should do a podcast on sometime.
What?
The Hobbit GameCube game.
Well, we do it right now.
I think every time I hear a noise that's slightly almost I'm like, oh yeah.
Or
That's,
yeah. Like that going through that save screen.
Yeah.
It's
It's so
squishy all the time.
Yeah. I like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Cutscenes are good, like
The cutscenes look really
he's like,
good.
yeah.
Like surprisingly
when
good
he like turns
effects.
when they're like or the snoring by the trolls, I love all that game.
Oh yeah. Just all the sound effects.
Better
are
than the
very-
movies, that's for sure.
Whoa!
Unpopular opinion.
Definitely very true.
That's true.
But welcome to Unorganized Thought.
Sponsorship?
Oh. I don't want to get sued by Contigo.
Sponsorship? Water.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Water this week.
If you enter the promo code, you can get it in your house.
Promo code Contigo.
No, don't
Stop it.
Promo code free water, and then you go to your tap and some will come out.
Promo code H2O, but you have to spell out
Yeah.
the word two.
Yeah, and
So
the
it's
word
like
and the word
hatwa.
and the word H.
Oh.
Hatu.
Hatu.
H. How would you spell that? AITCH?
Why would there be an I? I guess
H.
AYTCH.
A-I.
AITCH.
Yeah.
H.
Maybe an H.
Or would it be EI?
That would be each.
No, but think about 8.
Look, English.
Oh, EI.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
A, I think that would be
8.
H.
H.
Yeah, I think you're right. H.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
So what would be the difference between 8 and H?
Well,
Words.
8 has GHT.
Yeah, so would there be a GH in there?
Well, it
So would
could
it
be
be
if you wanted to call it
E-I-G-H-T-C-H? Yeah.
We've broken it. Anyways, we're the Actra Brothers. I'm Aiden.
And I'm Kieran.
And we have a Tegan who is fed up with our spelling of a letter. Which is what an intro. Yeah.
Are we
So
doing name tags?
yeah, sure. Look, wow, a name tag in front of me.
Mine's up there.
Whoa,
And I don't know where mine is.
it's gone. I
You don't
didn't
get
add it.
one.
Oh, you didn't have one?
No.
What if it's here?
No.
No?
No.
Can it be over your face?
Yeah, here it is.
Except
it
that's
is.
me.
That's him, not me.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's gonna be
it's gonna be some work for me later. So we were just talking about when you happened to stumble in
when
on
you
us,
dropped in.
we were talking about the old Hobbit video game for the
On
GameCube.
Yeah, maybe people
It
might
might have
not
been
know
on.
about this.
Do you think was it exclusively GameCube?
I don't know.
It could have
was-
been like
I think-
I'll
PlayStation
check. It was
1.
definitely on PC though as well. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't even know if it was
Everything
PlayStation.
is
But
on PC,
something Kieran
except
likes
for
to-
Rockstar Games.
It's by Sierra
Sorry.
Games though, because I only know this because
That
all of Sierra
mountain?
Games, the mountain, that's
Yeah.
the logo. But all their games were like adventure, like walk around, like they're all the same. Anyways, is what I'm trying to say. Like they're very like I played Robots. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Robots.
They
So
did
Sierra
have
made that one.
Interesting.
I think they're one of those companies that had all like the movie adaptations.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they're really
yeah.
lame. Like they would just buy those and then try to make a game. But they were good games.
Well, what was what I was just saying is that something Kieran likes to say is that
2003. Oh, so it was on Xbox too as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But something Kieran likes to say about this game is that it's the definitive,
Not definitive. It's
well,
my canonical
it's-
version
it's-
of the movie.
it's the most accurate adaptation
of the
from
book.
the books to date,
Yeah.
and even then
It's
it
my
skips a couple
canonical
things.
Hobbit in the movie universe. So
it was on
goes
Game Boy
that
too.
one. Really?
Yeah,
That's the one
I
you
have
have.
the Game Boy version,
Yeah.
and it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Well, that's
not
the thing.
even
They used
close.
to do that, where it was like, for consoles, this is this game,
And
but then
Game
they'd
Boy,
have
it would
another
be
game
something
where
different.
it's a
Yeah.
Game Boy, but it's like not the same game at all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great game though.
I it's very
very good game.
nostalgic.
I
The music is so just
Yeah.
Great
jolly.
music.
I love it.
the Gollum in this is very weird. Like
It's like this gray
Yeah.
man thing.
well, the movie would have been out.
The Lord of the Rings
was out.
movies were out,
So they couldn't have
and
been
so
too close.
they sort of they based a lot of
yeah.
the things that you see in this off
Gandalf,
of that.
yeah, it
Like
looks very
Gandalf,
similar.
Elrond, you see in like
Yeah.
in a cutscene where it just looks like there's a drawing. They just skip over Rivendell.
Yeah.
They're like, and then they went to Rivendell. Moving on, moving on to somewhere you
there's
could
not
actually
really,
play.
Yeah, there's not really anything
Yeah.
you could play in Rivendell.
You would just wander
Yeah.
around. I don't know if there's any other Hobbit video
Mediums.
games after like post movie other than the Lego ones.
Yeah. Just
Right, yeah.
Which
yeah.
I played the first half of. I don't know if they ever actually came out with.
Is there any
the Battle of
difference
Five
in any of
Armies?
the Lego games? They would just go to the movie and then sort of like translate that across,
Yeah,
right? Like
it's
Star Wars
pretty
was
much,
like that.
yeah,
and they've done
direct
that.
translation.
Yeah,
of
they've done
the
that with
show.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, I remember that was like the last one I played. What else now? They've done Batman.
done yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Wow.
I don't like once they started making them talk.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah, I like the.
Yeah, that was funny,
Yeah.
and there was some good comedic moments
Yeah.
where they're just woo woo.
Yeah,
woo.
yeah.
I like when in the Indiana Jones game when the Jones Senior gets shot. Doesn't he like go in half or his body's gone? I remember. I don't know. I don't remember the exact scene, but I remember that was a comedic.
Yeah, they always keep it like light, and
yeah.
so
Kids games.
what's the moment I'm thinking of? Yeah, I think it's a moment where somebody dies, but they play it off like it's just kind of like a joke, and so
was
like
it Qui-Gon?
it could be.
Was it his death?
I don't remember.
Because I remember that being like definitely not as serious as the movie.
Yeah, where he's dead, but then he kind of gets up. Yeah, like Obi-Wan is cradling him, and he's like opening his eye and like looking around because they had to keep death out of it in order to like please the censors.
When they have that E rating on it, I don't think it was even E10.
Speaking of that moment, this is me and Aiden. We figured out this glitch essentially in that part in the Phantom Menace.
We replicated it
and we replicated it
because it happened at random.
Yeah, and so it won't work in the. We should honestly put out a video of us doing this, like if we could screen record it. But
it won't work on any re-released version of it. It probably has to be the original.
Yeah, and so basically,
like
it won't work.
GameCube.
It won't work on your first playthrough. Essentially, if you're playing the story version,
because you have to return with the
So it needs to come through when you're playing the free mode. And so if you when you're fighting Darth Maul and you're chasing him down, if you go in as a character that can basically rapid fire and shoot fast, like a Jango Fett, or like one of those guys with
maybe
like,
Boba doesn't have
with a fast fire rate, like Jango Fett.
And so let me just preface this with, at this point in the level, so we're coming through as a free play, whereas probably just both Jango Fetts, because he's the fastest
obviously
firing.
The second time, like the first time, it was just an accident. We were probably like Captain Antilles or
we're just playing through with these guys, and like it gets to a point where it's a fighting sequence with him, and once you hit him once, he jumps away, and you're not supposed to access him.
Yeah.
So us, being kids and eager to finish him off, we switch to our gun wielding guys and just boom, 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 boom. We just start unloading.
Yeah, so you just spam at him.
And the game's way of stopping that is he just blocks all your bullets far away. They've programmed it so that he blocks every bullet that comes at him.
Because then you're supposed to like fight the droids.
You're supposed to build
or
a bridge.
You're
supposed to build a bridge or something in order to get over to him.
No.
I think you have to build a bridge.
Yeah, there's something
you have to do something to get over to him.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to hit him.
But if you have two people that can shoot very, very fast, he can't block all of them. And so
we were just firing nonstop at him, and then all of a sudden it zoomed in on him, and he fell.
Yeah,
we hit him.
Killed him. We got him.
He just started falling.
Yeah, because he's on a little platform and
he's
goes off.
He's on the other side of, that engine room just has a bunch of holes in it. And so we're just firing, and all of a sudden we just see, like,
the camera tracks on him.
Tracks on him, shows just Darth Maul falling for eternity.
But then it cut, and you can't see him after a certain point, and the camera's just falling.
The camera's just like kind of bouncing up and down.
Yeah,
but
and we even left it for a while. We're like, I wonder what'll happen. And
so we broke the game.
Because
the game breaks. Like you could pause
it.
You can pause it and leave. I think.
Yeah, well, that's how we
exit
had. Well, me, I don't know.
The level.
I don't remember exactly.
But
we might have had to shut it off.
We instead of like being Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and going through as we're supposed to, he just jumps up. You'll never get me. Whoa, hey, take it easy. He's trying to block all of them and then just gets shot. Yeah. Oh my god, and falls. It's just pretty funny.
I as far like we had never heard of it, and maybe that's a common glitch nowadays, but I've never seen it anywhere. So if you knew about it, let us know, because that'd be cool. But also if you have that game, go try it. And let us know if you can pull that off.
It was very hilarious for us, because when we were playing those games, we were really quite young, and so we didn't know really, like, we would have heard kind of through the grapevine.
We would have just been so excited that we got him.
Like, exactly. We wouldn't have, like, what I'm building to here is that we would never have really considered, like, trying to break the game. We would have just been focused on defeating Darth Maul. And so to us, we were like, man, we were so good, we got him when the game didn't even want us
exactly.
to.
I love all those like weird like memories too of like when the internet was like so much less of part of gaming and stuff too. So it's like when you like on the bus and just talking about school,
like on the playground hearing
like,
about
I remember
things in Pokemon.
When Call of Duty World at War came out, like COD 5, that was the first one that had zombies. So it was just like this scary like hard mode. And just all the rumors of like, because like getting to round 10 was like hard. It can be even now.
I'm pretty sure I remember something.
And I remember like at round 100, you like there's a zombie Hitler that comes out and like blah blah. And you're like, wow, like that must be scary. And like, and there was always like stupid like videos of it on YouTube, but it was so fake and like poorly done. But like you still, I gotta get to level 100 to see if it's real. And then
just the old days of gaming pre-internet where it was just like. Everything you heard this from a guy who did this, who heard it from this guy. Like, this is how you get a Mew. You gotta do this because I heard my cousin did this because his friend said like.
Like we were never a huge part of the pre-internet world, but it was still very much the culture of making up rumors. And since the internet was there, they just spread faster.
Even we weren't on the internet.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Not as much.
Like the internet did exist, but we just growing up, it wasn't like now where a kid's gonna find out how games work on the internet. It was you go to school and you hear about this thing of how this game works. You know?
And if you're lucky, you might have bought a book along with the game.
Exactly.
That would really like imagine we weren't around in like the 80s and stuff when like Nintendo was the only thing, and there was like you had to get Nintendo Power to beat a game.
Exactly.
You had to be subscribed, or else you wouldn't get those secret or whatever. And some of those games were so stupid and hard.
I know.
That you like in Castlevania 2, like you have to crouch by the waterfall and for like 5 seconds, and then wait for a tornado to come out of nowhere, grab you, and pull you underneath, like out of the screen.
You're like, how do you figure that stuff out?
Exactly, you never would. And like some of that stuff, like Mortal Kombat, the early games, they put it in the loading screens where it's like. When you see the UFO punch the moon,
look to the skies, look to La Luna.
Look to La Luna, and so it's like just these crazy
even
things.
That was like a really rare chance that you would even see the thing, and like
or like stuff with the guys fighting on the bridge back there.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was pretty crazy, and I'm always thinking about how it's like. How did people beat these games? Like they're so hard. Like just past these cameras, you can see the N64 over there. Like trying to play through Majora's Mask. Even it's like holy crap. Like how do you figure this stuff out?
Even the Hobbit though. Like I played that game a ton, and I remember like I'm at the certain part. Like I had the walkthrough sitting there with me, and what did he do? Oh, that's what he did. Okay, then you do that, then you pass it, you're done. Like that's how easy it is, and
like I remember, and this is partially just we being bad at video games and just being young playing video games and not understanding necessarily patterns and how to beat things. But I remember like playing through the Hobbit, the White Lord, the White Lord.
Yeah,
that guy was like impossible to me. And when you finally beat him, it's like. such a victory, you know, because it's just so grindy.
Yeah, it was because we like honestly, it seems like something that we did a lot in video games before we got good was
instead of just grind. We
ran.
Yeah.
We ran.
Grind and run.
We would run away from the villains. Like if I remember when first playing through Mirkwood,
you just run in circles around them.
There would if zombies would show up. And so you run, you know, like that was the knee-jerk reaction when we were kids. And then when you get to a place where you can't escape without defeating them, like you're running in a circle, hoping he doesn't get you, and turning around, getting one hit in on his minions, and then running again. And honestly, I think that's how I ended up beating it, even when I came back to it when I was older. Because it's so overwhelming. He gets all his minions up, and the White Lord, if he gets close, but then again, I think that it's a lot easier to rush in than I remember and just like cut him to pieces.
You take hits, but
get out of there.
Yeah. I think that game is a good example of a game that is overwhelming though, in the same sense as like Super Mario 64 was, because like we always talked about like those screens whenever you'd go into like a cave, and it would show you like it would just go through this camera view of like all through the level, up, down, like, and you're like. It wants you to go from point. It's trying to be linear and say go here, simple. But it's like there's so many branches.
The goblin caves.
Yeah,
like
the
cave goes goes around the whole track and like and there's a cave up here and
floating platforms that go to stuff that you don't actually need. It's like extra like chests and stuff, right? But like that was so like frustrating, and just like being like, oh my god. And then you just gotta start going, start walking, and those stupid green guys come out of the ground. Yeah. And you're like swinging around, and then you're dead, and oh man.
Man, I the most recent time I played it, it was a couple of years ago. But I was trying really hard to get everything.
Yeah, good luck.
To get everything, and like I remember at one point, maybe it was Mirkwood, where I got kind of to the end of the level, and I was like, I know this is where it's gonna end, so I checked, and I was like. One chest missing, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" I can't. And I think that you get to a point in Mirkwood where you can't go back.
Yeah. Probably.
And so I was just like,
"Well," the whole thing over.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Well, maybe next time, I guess," because like, there were entire little side quests that you could totally just surpass, and it's interesting because it was kind of before the era of open world games, and so if you accidentally jump over a ledge before you've brought back that guy's ring heirloom or whatever, like there's no consequence. But if you want to 100% it, there's no thing on the loading screen that says, "Oh, you've gotten all the chests, you've gotten all."
There's no achievements. There's no achievement. There's not like you're trying to do it.
It's just 100%. For yourself.
Yeah. I don't even think that game had a completion meter, did it?
No, it didn't.
It was no 100%.
It just is the loading
exploration
screen.
too. And see, that's the thing is that
your save screen.
With people doing things like that Castlevania, tornado thing, that's the other thing is that people in video games, because of things like that, they do everything. You try everything.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of a bit of a switch of topics, but that's one of my qualms with Ready Player One, and it has always been where. The first Easter egg, at least in the movie, I haven't read the book, so I don't know for sure, but like going off the movie, the first thing is he gets it because everyone knew that it was this race, and they're trying to figure out, you just got to beat the race, and no one can beat the race. He gets up, he drives backwards, and then there's just a easy
and it's
street.
Like,
he just
if
drives,
this was
and
real,
I was like, people would have done that in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Someone would have done that in the first 5 rounds. Yeah. Someone would have driven backwards.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the suspension of disbelief in that, and just like being someone who's played video games and knows that community is just like, I get that this is the biggest video game thing ever, but at the same time, people would have beaten that in seconds.
Yeah, especially if the guy said, like, this is my big Easter egg hunt.
Exactly.
Immediately you would like, maybe first you would go through the race, but then you'd be like, if this is an Easter egg hunt, let's try this first. Like maybe it would take a day maximum of people going through, realizing it's impossible, and then going,
and
what's the other angle?
That is the kind of catch, is that's how they kind of trick you, is because, this is impossible, so if I can beat the race, then that must be it, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's lots of red herrings like that.
The thing is still like, within a day someone would have gone back, and just because video games, that puzzle would have been solved,
especially if his clue had something to do with
exactly.
going backwards.
And because people figured out that that was definitely the first one. So once you know that's definitely the first one, there's only so many things. You know,
so many things you can
after that, if there was no hints, nothing, then it's like, okay, we got to figure out what's going on here, and that would take the longest, honestly. But then once you know where to start, that would have been solved instantly.
Yeah.
And then the second one, he gives you a clue and a hint, and they figured it out basically super fast.
Yeah.
And so
so why didn't that happen for the first one?
Because
These
the
guys
first
are
one,
they lead Easter egg hunters of the world.
It took years, and that's the thing, is it took years and years to get the first one, and then once people did, they did it in like a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And that's how it more would have gone. It would have been the first week, people would have been up all night. Like, you get this empire of video games, it's like, people would have done that.
That's
so
like that.
fast.
That literally
But like,
entitles
it's
my
a pretty
whole
good
problem
movie,
with Video Game High School.
Yeah.
Like that show, because it was like, that's not how like it would have happened.
That's
like
not how
that's
it
just
works.
not how gamers like. They're just
See, I liked
they grind.
I liked that show. I thought it was really entertaining and funny.
Yeah. Me too.
For the first season, I don't remember if it was the second or the third season. Like, I think maybe the second dragged a little bit. Like, started to kind of get really kind of like it was still funny. I still enjoyed a lot of it, but it started to get a little bit like. Especially the third season, especially like the finale is really just kind of like
I have
like a little bit dramatic.
I need a refresher on that because I have.
Do you have the DVD of it?
Yeah,
I have the first season. Yeah,
you got it in like.
I don't even know if I have
That's when I first watched it.
I don't know if I have that anymore. Honestly, yeah, like I'd have to watch it on YouTube, but yeah, I need to watch that again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I first watched that at your house.
That was from Loot Crate.
Loot Crate, yeah.
Loot Crate.
Sponsorship for today.
Please sponsor us, Loot Crate. That would be spectacular. Yeah. What was I just gonna say? About I think
video games.
The Hobbit game.
Right.
Was just that it's I think the level is called Gathering of the Clouds because it's the one right before. It's where you're just kind of kicking it in Erebor. There's no real enemies.
Before Smaug.
No,
right after.
Armies.
Oh, okay.
That's when all the armies are accumulated.
Yeah,
right. Okay,
and so like it's just Bilbo pretty much looking around Erebor, and he's trying to open the vaults to get the Arkenstone. And so you have to go, like, you have to activate the lift.
Yeah.
So you can get to the different huge chambers of Erebor.
Yeah.
There's the forge. There's the treasury, which you're trying to get to. There's like the water room.
Yeah.
There's all this different stuff. Oh yeah, and like I was actually surprised when I was playing through it again. It was after the Hobbit movies had come out, and I was like, this giant forge looks a little bit familiar. I think that it was kind of funny how I kind of saw a couple similarities that maybe Peter Jackson had a look at some gameplay before he went after those.
Maybe the game took it from somewhere too. You know, maybe there's an original.
Maybe there's a mention of it in the book.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I read the book.
Inspiration and original.
Yeah. But anyways, you have to go around. You have to like melt down some metal in the forge to make a key. And the key will let you, like make the water run, or like you just have to do this huge pattern of puzzles, and like the water itself is this big this maze of of trying to get them to go to the same place.
I remember
those old tube games.
Where you have to turn the different ones, and I think that you have to run around and like hit each thing to make it turn the right way, and it turns a couple different ones, so it just takes forever, especially to get all of them, because different routes lead to
even
chests,
to figure it out. I
chests
remember just being like, wow,
that was definitely walkthrough territory.
I
think
I hate using walkthroughs
because
it takes away the sense of
lame,
achievement. But anyways, what I'm building to here is the first time I got to that level, I did everything. I got the water running, and then you have to do all the forge stuff and get these the machinery working, and get these two big drums to move over and be under the waterfalls, and so they'll fill up, move down, and the door will open. I get to the thing and I'm like, all right, here we go. I turn the lever, the drums move in, and the water just falls through the bottom. and so they don't fill up, and so they don't go down. And I was like, wait, hold on. I turn off the water, turn it back, or I don't think you can turn off the water at that point.
I don't think so. No.
Like you press the button once and then that's it. And so I'm like, okay, what do? I went back to the water room, turned off the water, restarted it. That didn't work. I can't bring the drums back, or if I do, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, wait, what? And so I'm looking up, I'm like, what did I miss? What do I have to do? Like, just this game-breaking glitch.
Yeah.
Because the doors then won't open.
Yeah.
And that was my first playthrough of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I just, for the longest time, I didn't finish that game until I revisited it a little while after, because I did all these things, and then, I missed the part where you patch the holes in the bottom of the drums? Like, it just was flowing straight through
With tape or something?
Yeah, and I was like, come on. And so when I did it the next time, I was like, I think maybe what caused the glitch was that I moved the drums over second. And so I made sure to put the drums into place first, and then start the water, because it seems like that's what would spark the cutscene, is water starting to fall and filling them up.
Yeah.
But if you have the opportunity to do it in another order, they ought to have programmed it so it still works if you do it the alternate way.
I think Sierra Games.
Yeah. But honestly, I love that game.
So how many times have you beat that game? Once? Like one, like, solid, or like, you know?
Probably 2 times.
2?
2 times.
I don't think I'd beat it more than once. So.
I don't think I beat it at all. I played it a million times, but...
Yeah, I played those first few stages, like, way too many times. I've only beat it, like, I think once,
find those
actually.
kids.
Well, so the life meter works in an interesting way. You collect crystals, the little gems, and that raises this little kind of power meter. When it fills up, you get a new
red orb.
Life orb.
Yeah.
And so, if you get to a point, like, at the end of each thing, there's a breakdown of, like, if you found all the gems and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I usually did pretty good. I would maybe only miss, like, a couple. And so I was pretty good for life. But at the end in Battle of Five Armies, there's this point where you get into a battlefield, and there's just goblins constantly coming.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the perfect opportunity to fill your life up all the way.
Just farm it.
Because they just keep coming, and they keep dropping, like, pretty big loot gems. And so you just stand there, and it's fun, because you're just fighting this Hobbit is just, like, the ultimate killer. And like, I just find it so funny that, like, the men are, like, and the elves are holding them back, and then this guy, like, comes through, and they're like, Hobbit, stay back. He's like, I've got a couple more life orbs to fill up. And, like, flies in and is, like, stabbing people, pulls out his stick and pole vaults into a
tiny blue sword.
Yeah, he's just, like, cutting guys to pieces, like, just like the greatest warrior ever. And
something funny about that game, though, I will say, is you don't kill anyone, right? Because it's one of those ones where you, wah, 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 and then they go wah, poof, and then, which is always... funny.
It's fine.
That game is also, it's pretty like 3D Zelda-y.
Very like I said, it reminds me so much of Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Like when you see, like, the levels where you're like, just the platforms and the way they're moving, it's like, okay.
Have you played any Ocarina of Time?
Not
or Majora's
long
Mask?
Time. Like Majora's Mask, I never really played. I played, like, the starting level.
It's a frustrating game.
Yeah, I played it after I played Ocarina, and I was like, this is not, because you're starting out and you're like the wood guy or whatever, and I didn't like that. I just liked Ocarina more, honestly.
Yeah, I like it a lot better. Yeah. They got kind of crazy with Majora's Mask. Like, they really amped it up to 11 with
when did they come out? Because, like,
Ocarina is a direct sequel, or sorry, Majora's Mask is a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time.
I just want to see.
But anyways, I only bring it up because now that you mention that, Ocarina of Time, it plays very, very similar to the Hobbit game. Because, like, you've got your combat, you've got, like, your slingshot, and then there are lots of puzzles that you have to figure out, but you're still in the mode of this guy, like, pushing things around and, like, pulling chains and that sort of thing.
It totally could have come out on the N64. Like, with massive, like, you know, graphic reductions, obviously, but, like, it seems like a very similar game.
I feel like it's a very underrated game.
Hobbit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think so. I think so too. You know.
Just a random clap throw in there to sync the camera that went out.
Yeah. I do think it's underrated, but then again I don't know that it's underrated, but I think it's just underknown.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good way of putting it.
I think and I think it gets lumped into because there's a lot of, or not a lot. There's at least a couple.
Kind of just trash.
Well, there's Lord of the Rings, Two Towers on like PS2 and GameCube. Well, like
how many
there's two or three, and they're
good
not.
Lord of the Rings
they're not
games
good. Like they're not good. Like
exactly.
if they were like the Hobbit.
Conquest is alright, I guess.
Yeah, Conquest. Yeah.
Where you just
that's after. That's PS3.
Yeah, exactly.
Next gen.
Yeah. And War in the North is. I enjoy it. I know that a lot of people I think didn't like it.
Yeah.
But we love that game. It's a great time. But again, also 360.
Yeah, you know, I think it just gets lumped in with those, and those games.
And people don't realize that it's actually kind of its own little kind of niche.
Totally different company too, because those games, like the Lord of the Rings, I think they were just like New Line Cinema's like go to, because they're movie games. Like you're playing.
Who made those games?
I'll look it up.
I feel like
do you have them over there?
We might have.
I have them at home, and boy, I played that game as a kid. Not a good game.
Well, yeah, because I remember when we were young. I remember our dad playing. What would it have been? Two Towers.
Fellowship.
Or
was there a Fellowship one?
Balrog. Or no, it was Two Towers because it maybe started with the
Balrog.
He was playing Two Towers on our old PC. It's actually over there. Just a giant beast of a computer.
This was 2002. It looks like.
Yeah, it was. That's what I was
EA.
going to say. I was going to say
games.
that I think they're EA.
That's why it sucks.
Why does EA have the rights to every... They have the rights to all of them.
This could be a long conversation about this.
Well, like,
about how
because EA has Lord of the Rings and Star Wars?
Yeah, and they've ruined so many other franchises. Like, they did Visceral Games, the guys who made Dead Space. They made the first two games, and then they bought it, made it into a Hollywood crap fest, and then Dead Space 3
I think we talked about that on the
first
podcast
one?
that's never been released,
The lost episodes.
The lost episodes,
yeah. That's something I was just talking to my friends. They were just saying...
I thought we were your only friends.
Oh, well... Anyways, they were just saying how EA is just like
garbage.
Absolute crooks, you know,
crooks.
Like,
which is why I'm very surprised that Fallen Order is like doing well.
You can look up. There's tons of like there's videos on too. Just look up like EA. I don't know, something like you can get a list of games and franchises that were working with these games. And then EA comes in, they say, okay, we'll buy up it all, and blah, blah, blah. And then they shit out the game real fast, and then it sucks, you know?
Yeah.
Like...
It, and that's the saddest part about it.
Yeah.
And this is what I said to my friends, is that the saddest part is that the people who are really writing and making these games are not the people who are putting in the loot boxes and who are like, you know, who are forcing children to gamble, you know? Like it's all the corporate saying, you know, like, oh, but what if instead do this? Oh, like, and then they have to because like they own them now.
I want to look I'd be interested. I don't know, this might exist as a video. If not, we should make it. But as a video of kind of like the history and kind of evolution.
I watched a video about this.
Of like loot boxes and how that came to be. You know, like go back and be like, oh, well, in World of Warcraft, you can purchase this for coins. Or like, I don't know that World of Warcraft does that.
Blizzard?
But,
no way.
No, Blizzard, there's no way.
I found an article right here. I won't go through all of it. 20 video game franchises that EA has ruined. Dead Space is right at the top. Dungeon Keeper, I don't know what that is. Ultima, don't know what that is. I say that they kill these things, even though I don't know what any of them are. Wing Commander.
Those are older games that
Oddworld
have a reputation.
Need for Speed, that's a big one. I know them, obviously.
Yeah, remember when Need for Speed used to be a game franchise?
Syndicate, I think I've seen that, but I don't know what that is. The Simpsons games. Remember, you guys ever play Hit and Run or those? Oh, Road Rage, those were good.
Krusty Super Fun House.
Titanfall, apparently.
No, on Sega.
Genesis.
Titanfall apparently was ruined by them. Road Rash, that's all.
Titanfall.
Titanfall, yeah. That's...
Were there games previous? Like, is there more than one Titanfall?
Titanfall 1 and 2, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Which is...
Is that the one that's the same universe?
Yes, it is.
As Apex Legends.
Yeah.
And see, that's the other thing, is that, like,
Battlefront, it says.
And
that's
see, this is where this is what I like playing Apex Legends, and yes, it's an EA property, but they gave it to me for free, and I will never spend money on it.
Exactly.
So, like, joke's on you, I guess. Like,
you gave me a really fun
game, and, like, yes, it has a loot box element, but I don't need that.
Yeah.
It's purely cosmetic.
Exactly.
And so, like, that's a one very specific case where it doesn't harm the gameplay.
Yeah.
But it still is potentially, manipulative.
Well, it is, and the other
children
thing
who
is
don't
that
know better.
Half of the characters are locked, and you do have to pay to get them unless you save up,
grind real
which
hard.
me and it have actually done.
Unless you quit your job.
But then even with that, the characters, it doesn't actually matter.
Every
that
character
much.
is balanced.
As cool as it is to look different and like have the different powers, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much.
You guys ever play Mass Effect?
No.
That was another series.
That was kind of on my list.
You should.
But I've heard that it's been quite destroyed by EA.
The third one, the only one that was the third one, like that one got messed up by EA, definitely, I would say. But that's it. You guys would like that game.
Yeah, because I like I've said to you before, I like very kind of story driven games.
Very, very story driven.
And that one seems like kind of more of a choice based one, and
yeah,
I like choice games.
Yeah, it has the wheel where you like Fallout kind of. Yeah. It's like that, I'd say, but like it's almost like Star Wars with how it has this massive universe like that it creates itself, and you can go through and do, because it's kind of free roam too.
Cool.
Yeah, like thank God EA can't buy Red Dead. That'd be tragic.
New Red Dead game every
Red Dead 3
year.
after a year.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yikes.
That's for another podcast, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, once we get on that.
Once you get it, and it's gonna take you a while to beat it. It's a long game.
See, that's the thing, is that when Tegan and I were talking about this, we have the first one.
You've played it.
He hasn't played all the way through it.
Oh, okay.
And so I figure I'll get my angle that now I'm going to take is that.
Well, it is
since I haven't played that one, like the first one, I'm gonna get the second one, play through that, and then play the first one, since it is like a prequel, and just to have a different perspective on it.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm kind of jealous in a way, because like kind of like I'm not jealous in the fact where what's gonna be interesting is how you're gonna go from 2's controls to the first. That's gonna feel. I did it. It's not that bad, but like. The horses, rough. Like it's night and day. Like, I'm just interested like the story wise though, because you're gonna get introduced to these characters first. Because when you play the first game, like when we played the first game, all you get is you're John Marston, and you're hearing about these things through conversations that you're having with other characters,
which is really cool.
It is cool.
It gives a history. And it shows you that there's a world here.
You have to imagine on your own, and like sort of like. And it is hard though. I'll say, I said this to you. It's hard to keep up with it all though. Like I had to play the game like twice, and like reading stuff too, where I'm like, oh, that's who Bill was, or that's who Javier Escuela was. I was like, I didn't know these people, and then like in the first one you're dealing with them, but you don't really get it.
Like they establish a bit that you have a past here, but it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah, and this is why I think too though, why when I played the second one the first time a year ago, it was so impactful, because I was like. Oh,
well, see, and that's kind of that's why I'm still kind of tentative about doing this, because I really like kind of learning about the universe. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of the show that shall not be named, but I shall promptly named Game of Thrones, at the beginning, you learn through this universe very naturally and slowly, and there's this super vast history.
You don't even have to talk about the show, because that's how it is in the books.
Yeah, like in the books, I'm talking only about Song of Ice and Fire. Is that you're introduced just by conversation and by
you
hearsay,
learn about
and
all
just
the
like
crazy
slowly
stuff
you develop this, and it really the way that is told is almost like it helps to amplify what exactly they're trying to do. It amplifies the feel of this vast world.
And that's what I would say would be a con to the way you're gonna play it, because like I didn't play the game for years, and when I played the second one, I was like, oh my god, like I can't explain it obviously, but like you just gotta do it. It's such a...
Well, maybe I won't then. I don't know. Yeah, I might just play it the other way then.
And the good thing about doing it 1 and 2 would be you only gain control wise, because you'll play the first one and you'll be like, wow, it's not great. Like, what did that come out? 2010? It's been a while, you know. Like, and it's not bad. Like, I played it a couple months ago.
Well, and that was
it's,
one thing,
it's totally
honestly,
doable.
Going from some games at the time, like I remember playing Assassin's Creed, you could ride on horses.
Yeah.
But then going from that to Red Dead, even the horse control was awesome.
Yeah.
And so
when you guns shooting on a horse, you're doing
like,
that.
That was really like it felt good at the time. And so I can imagine like playing the new one.
Yeah. And like the whole the thing to me from the first to the second one is the speech thing, because you're walking around and you can walk up to any NPC, any character, hold L2, like left trigger for you guys, and it'll give you just stranger, like what are the words it uses, like you can be mean to them, you can say like just nice things, and then so you just tap it and your character will say a different thing every time, and then you can make that worse. You can try to fight them. Everything is just so...
I like that very, very much.
And like, I've never had that really in a video game. Like Fallout
is probably what comes the closest.
Yeah, but you still can't walk up and like...
to a random person.
Not, yeah, it's like the closest thing to like human, like where you like walk up, like interact, leave, you know, and your character says a different thing. It's not like he's repeating vocal things every 2 or 3 times. Like it's so good. You gotta experience
really
it.
Cool. Yeah.
It's so good.
I was just gonna say... There's yet to have a game for me where I ever get used to shooting off horseback.
Yeah, it's hard.
In Ocarina of Time, as well as Majora's Mask, it's very, very hard, and like because you have to essentially ride away from them so that you can ride them head on, because when you start shooting, you don't have your hands on the reins. The horse is just gonna go.
Yeah.
And so. Like you point it in the right direction and the horse will go there.
Yeah.
But like it has to be perfectly lined up, otherwise your shot is just totally messed up. And it seems like more trouble than it's worth, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's even the thing in like playing the first Red Dead or even like GTA 5. When you're in a car or something, you're trying to shoot and you're just like, I'm just gonna let it go straight and hope I don't hit anything because I'm aiming over here.
Yeah.
With Red Dead though, I think that's like the saving thing with it is they give you and I would argue it's like almost unfair, is the Deadeye thing, because you can press R3 and you get like slow motion and you can go around and then do that, you know, so that helps, I think. And I think they just did a good job too of managing that, because you can kind of steer and shoot, I think, when I'm trying to think, like kind of, I guess. It'd probably be better than Ocarina of Time, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think
I would hope.
I would hope
so. 20 years.
But it was really in Majora's Mask when I really noticed it, because I actually played Ocarina of Time on 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
The remastered version. And now, like, I'm still not through Majora's Mask. Kieran's got me playing Apex Legends, and we got addicted to that for a while, but while I was trying to do my big Zelda playthrough. In the remastered, the horseback riding is not as bad.
Yeah. Fixed it a bit.
It's essentially the same, but I think the only difference is on the remastered version, the bow and arrow is its own kind of button, whereas in the original version and in Majora's Mask, you have to switch it as one of your weapons, and then, you know, press the same button.
Yeah.
And remembering which button you set it as and all of that stuff. And so, like, the specific level I'm thinking of the UFO level, the weird alien ghost one where I had to ride around on horseback and defend this barn from ghosts. And like it's so difficult, like because you have to be moving around the entire time, and you always have to be shooting, like to stop you all. Your shots have to be very accurate, and so I'm essentially riding out away from the house towards each ghost. Then I have to turn around, go back towards the house, and turn again in a different direction. Because I don't have the accuracy otherwise, because they're moving towards. If I go from one ghost to another, I might hit it, but then I'm moving and they're moving, and so at least if I'm moving towards them, they're a stable target. And so like it was so hard. And in that game where like just reloading save isn't an option, you have to restart the entire day. Like that game is so frustrating.
And it wasn't even
I didn't even need it.
Yeah, you got like some milk.
Yeah, like I thought that I might need to do that.
And cow mask.
Yeah, I think it was a cow mask. But like in games, I usually want to try and do everything. Yeah. But Majora's Mask is definitely one where that's just not gonna happen. Yeah. Like I'm playing Majora's Mask, I just want to get through so I can do Twilight Princess. Like honestly, like I'm just trying to go through kind of all the 3D kind of Zelda games. And so I really just want to finish Majora's Mask so I can say that I finished Majora's Mask and to kind of see what happens. Like I'm kind of curious, but that game is so hard.
Yeah, I know,
Like you're constantly like time's ticking away and like if you get into a difficult fight, and you get stuck there for a long time,
you're done.
You're pretty much done because you don't have enough time to finish then the boss fight after that. And then sometimes there's post-boss things that you then have to do. So if you don't do them right away, you can warp to the boss if you return to that dungeon, but you still have to kill the boss again. Yeah. And it's like, oh.
Have you guys ever, this is a different kind of thing, but just something you said there reminded me of this. Have you guys ever been playing a game, and it's just, I don't know what this is in my memory, but just some game where it's got the like save anytime feature when you can just pause it and press save. Yeah. Have you ever played and you were dying and then you saved it like as a guy's about to swing and kill you? Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
So when you reload it, you go away for a while and you come back and you start the game and you just die.
Yeah.
And then it turns into like a day after tomorrow thing where you're trying to figure out every way that you could like, all right, well, this guy's gonna kill me, so I have to duck. Or like you have to try and figure it out, and then sometimes you can't, so you just have to reload.
Yeah. And the worst of those situations. One time I got into the worst one.
What's the game that we were
Skyrim?
Oh yeah,
Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim.
Because the worst one was I got to a situation where I was close to beating the guy, so I just went, okay, save, and then I finished the save and immediately got killed. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I at one point I went to go and reload the previous save, like Kieran was saying, where like you get stuck, so it's like, okay, I'll go back to the other one. I saved over the old one. And so I was like, no, you're kidding me. Yeah. Like, because instead of going down to load, I just immediately, the default is that it's on the save file. And I went down, clicked on it, and it said, saving your game. I was like, no. So it's like you said, you have to keep dying to figure out the exact moment that you have to like just jump away.
The most brutal groundhog.
Like, all right, I've got it. It's, what is it? Live, Die, Repeat is the movie. Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. I said.
You said Day After Tomorrow.
It's a different movie.
I was like, is that a different movie?
It is.
Tom Cruise.
Like, I think the like I at one point I don't think I ever figured out the really bad situation I was in. I just had to go to the back to the beginning of the dungeon. But the convoluted plan that I was hatching in my brain was, as soon as it started, I pause it, switch to whirlwind sprint.
Oh, yeah. Because
but I was totally like out of like potions. Yeah. Like completely out. And so the first thing you do is pause. eat like 7 cheese wheels.
Eat a bunch, because that's what I was gonna say.
But whatever the strike was, it was too powerful every time it killed me, and so I switched to whirlwind sprint. And so I unpause it and try, but it has a build up. So you go like do or whatever it is. And so I'm do and then explode and it's like, oh, there's no way. There's no way to save it. Part of it was
also when we were younger, there was a strange phase when we just like playing the game almost became secondary, and it was only to win and to beat the game almost. And so we not by the time we were playing Skyrim, it wasn't that so
not
much
as extreme,
but it was like we almost kind of lost sight of playing the game and like gaining and
lost sight of the true
and getting levels. And so like when we're playing Skyrim, at least when we were first playing Skyrim, we didn't get to the levels that we should have been for certain areas or whatever it was, and like that worked for some games that we were good at, like if we're playing whatever and you just can get by on pure skill and luck.
There's no leveling maybe.
But when you get to Skyrim and you have to be good, you have to level up, you have to upgrade your perk tree to do better.
I ignored the perk tree
for so long.
Why?
Only in recent years.
We're so dumb.
Just stupid, didn't understand it. Only in like the last couple times I've played Skyrim, like replayed Skyrim in the last many years.
It's the same thing. You just didn't use it?
No,
Fallout is a lot easier
grinded.
to navigate, I find.
I just went trying to win combat, and that's why I ended up in situations where I'm saving and dying because that was the only way I could try and beat guys. Is by pausing, eating all the potions I have, then trying to teleport over here, then just spam him. Like,
in my Skyrim Renaissance, and then I passed on the knowledge to you, the knowledge of the skill tree. In my Skyrim Renaissance, which would have been like, I don't know, a couple years ago, like probably
just
start
when we
of high
came
school
back,
or whatever.
When we come back to the game.
When we came back to the game for a while, I started using it. Makes a ridiculous difference.
Oh,
and nobody would know this because
that's how it's meant to be
using the skill tree all along. And so we were playing this on this weird, like,
extra hard mode.
Fake hard mode, like fake Iron Man
Stupid
mode with no perks. And it's like, I don't know, like, I'm still a bit stingy about it because I never want to spend all of my skill points. I always kind of want to save
in any game. I've always got like 2 skill points.
I always leave like 2 or 3.
Yeah, me too.
That for emergency situations.
Sense, but I guess
another
if you can
thing is
level up.
If you in Skyrim, you sometimes you avoid going to the level up screen because you save it for a dire situation in which you're dying because it revamps your health.
Yeah.
In Fallout, it just does it automatically.
Yeah.
It does the health revamp, but in Skyrim, it won't do it until you enter the screen. So that's another reason why even later, after I discovered like how to use the skill tree, it like I still forget because like if I finish a battle, I'm like, oh, skill tree, I got to do that, but then I'm like, but I always wait for situations where I'm about to die, but then you forget about it, and it's just dumb.
I remember I learned like really early on because I played Fallout 3 first. I remember like realizing very fast that like you can basically cheat the game by upping your charisma like just right up to the end speech like so high.
Charisma is always what I focus high
you do
on.
If you do that super high, like if you get like 8 points and then
just talk your way out of
and then your first 2 levels you up that. Every situation you have like that green bubble where you just like pick it and then you get more money. You can talk people into giving you stuff, it's so easy.
Yeah. The thing I found with Fallout 3 was that it really just like it drops you into this world and then like you just have to like it's a bit of a vicious cycle. It's kind of grindy.
Oh yeah.
Because you need better stuff to actually go up against the raiders, but you need to go up against the raiders to get better stuff.
Some like crap armor.
I got really and the same is true for Fallout 4, but just not so extreme. Because they ease you into it a little bit better. Like immediately they give you power armor. Like I didn't get power armor for so long in Fallout 3.
I didn't get it till 3 until the very end, and the game ended, and I was like, oh. That
sucks. I finally found I finally found Fox.
Yeah.
The companion, and I don't know if they patched it or something, or maybe I bet what it was that I didn't have a high enough affinity with Fox.
Yeah.
Because I get to the end, and I'm like, all right, radiation room. There's 3 people standing here. It's me, Jenny Lyons, and the man who is the giant man who is immune to radiation.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I wonder which one of us is gonna go in there. Yeah. And so I was like, they're trying to get me to do it. It's like, enter the room, and I was
and
like,
then you're a coward.
Fox, go in the room. And he's like, no. This is your story to finish. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Yeah. Like, why would you give me this? Like, you would be fine. That's the thing. And I'm like, I have to die, but you would survive, man. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And I think that maybe it had to have been that my affinity wasn't high enough with him.
Well, then when you win the game...
I've seen situations where you can make Fox do it for you.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
I remember I put Lions, I sent her in, and then you get like you're the bad guy at the end because you just did sacrifice yourself. You know? The thing about 4 though is they give you the settlement, and they give you a bunch of settlement missions always. Yeah. So you can always be doing those pretty easily, and then upping XP and stuff like that, which makes it better.
I got quite invested into the settlements and stuff. For a long time I ignored them, but I made it my goal to create Starlight City. God. Which is there's this one settlement called Starlight Drive-In.
Yeah.
And it's just this huge empty lot. And so I've taken it upon myself to turn it into just like another city. And so in one of my games I just put houses everywhere along, but then I got tired of that game and started a new one. And in the new one I don't have houses everywhere in the lot, but instead I turned the big billboard into an apartment complex and just stacked like kind of rows of like prefabs on there. And then I put, because I have the expansions, all the expansions, I have the season pass, and so it had there's some cool cosmetic things that go with it. And so on each little like house square I put a glowing like movie poster or like advertisement poster. And so I like the idea that I've created this Starlight City, and like my next on the agenda is to make a sign that is like live among the stars or whatever, because this billboard looks like it's all lit up like starlight. And I was like I spent way too much time doing this because like it's like, why aren't you out fighting mutants? I'm like, I have to make the perfect city with all the people, and I pick and choose the settlers, you know, I go to different settlements and I'm like, I like the look of you. Here's a tuxedo. Go to Starlight City, you know, and like
just an elitist.
And well, like I dress up all my settlers a certain way for certain settlements. Like there's my farm one, I give them all flannel and stuff, and like I have the Nuka-Cola DLC, so I'm planning on going and raiding the cowboy one, and maybe I'll come back and give them all cowboy outfits and stuff. And so, I don't know, it's this weird sort of, like, I don't know, thing to take to in that game, where I just love, like, playing house with all of my settlements, like, dressing them up and stuff.
It always was boring to me. I couldn't do it much, but then I realized it does help you a lot. It gives you XP and stuff.
Yeah, I just, and it sometimes you have to, you know, leave for a while to find enough materials to build the ridiculous stuff that I'm trying to build, because it takes a ridiculous amount of like glass and circuitry. Which are not always the easiest to come by.
No.
But it's always funny. I open up a trash can. I'm like, oh yes, Nuka-Cola bottles. And like Piper is like watching me and is like, okay, but are you opening an antique shop or whatever the line is? She's like, what are you gonna do with that? Or Kate says like, what are you doing with that junk? That belongs in the garbage. Just always yelling at me. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm trying to build a civilization here.
Yeah, trying to find Sean.
Yeah. Why don't you go find your son for once? I'm like, I gotta make Starlight City, Kate. You wouldn't understand.
Stupid Kate.
Yeah. Who's your favorite? Well, maybe we shouldn't go into that. What time are we at?
How long?
About an hour.
About an hour? Well, then maybe we'll save that for a follow-up podcast or something. Yeah. Let me just check these cameras. Low battery.
Check it for the side off.
Okay. I hope it's been recording this whole time. But anyways, yeah, that we're at an hour now.
Yeah,
so,
plug your phone in when you film.
Yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah, I gotta get an extension.
We'll check that in a second. Hopefully that we had that angle.
Yikes.
But anyways, actually, I think I just turned on low power mode, so maybe it'll actually turn off in a second here. So we better sign off quick. We'll stick to the wide, maybe. Okay, so there goes another podcast. We had a couple of topics in mind, and we didn't actually end up touching on any of them.
I mean, the Hobbit we did.
The Hobbit was kind of our fallback one.
Yeah.
What were we gonna talk about?
It was about it not being split screen anymore.
Yeah, no more split screen.
I mean, we sort of covered that a little bit, like
a little bit,
just not really at all.
Not directly.
Well, we can save it for another podcast.
Yeah.
Unorganized thought it is.
Yeah, I think by the time this comes out, it's gonna be getting close to Christmas. Star Wars is probably coming out next week, I think, at this point.
When this will be coming out.
Yeah. So that will be interesting. There will
be
almost definitely be a podcast on that, so that's something to look forward to. Where we're losing cameras left. Definitely the wide now. But what I was going to say about that is I think when this will come out, Star Wars, this should come out on maybe the 17th, I think. And so if that's correct, then Star Wars comes out this week. And so we probably won't have a podcast on it. This coming week's podcast probably won't be about Star Wars, and maybe it will be about anticipating Star Wars. But our episode covering it will probably be the week after that.
That's very complicated because this was shot by the time it's coming out, it will have been like a week ago, and so we're trying to anticipate it. We're not good at scheduling this.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't
my shirt. Who knows?
Who knows? Did we film this at the same time as the last one? I don't know.
Where am I?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so yeah, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but good things to come.